Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a story that has absolutely gripped international headlines. A massive financial fraud, really.
Yeah, one that shook an entire nation.
Exactly. And there's been a recent arrest, a really significant one, that feels like a turning point.
A big step in the pursuit of justice, for sure.
We're talking about Nehal Modi, the brother of Nirav Modi, the infamous one.
Right, the lesser-known brother.
And his alleged connection to the huge Punjab National Bank scam, the PNB scam, it's more than just money, isn't it? It's this really complex web global implications. We're going to try and unravel it all.
That's the plan. Our mission today really is to cut through all the noise, get past the headlines. We want to pull out the core insights from everything we've looked at, help you understand the mechanisms of how this huge fraud actually worked,
Right.
and piece together Nehal Modi's role, which seems pretty pivotal, even if he wasn't always in the spotlight.
The man in the shadows, maybe?
Kind of. And explore what this arrest really means, for justice, for international cooperation, that sort of thing.
And for trust in the system.
Exactly. We'll try to connect the dots, help you see that bigger picture.
And it really was a bombshell arrest, wasn't it? July 4th, 2025.
Yeah, right here in the U.S.
While everyone's celebrating, Nehal Modi, who, like you said, mostly stayed in the shadows, gets arrested.
And this wasn't just random chance.
No, definitely not. It followed a joint extradition request from India. We're talking the Enforcement Directorate, the ED.
And the CBI, the Central Bureau of Investigation.
Right. So heavy hitters. This was clearly a coordinated effort, years in the making, really.
Spanning continents.
So who is Nehal Modi? He's 46, born and raised in Antwerp, Belgium.
Ah, the Diamond Hub. Makes sense.
It does. And interestingly, he speaks English, Gujarati, and Hindi fluently, which, hints at that global reach.
It definitely suggests someone comfortable operating internationally across cultures.
Yeah. While his brother Nirav was sort of the face, the celebrity diamantaire.
The flashy one.
Right. The claim is Nehal was more behind the scenes, allegedly pulling the strings on the operational side, maybe the darker side.
And what's fascinating here is the seriousness of the charges he's facing. These aren't minor things at all.
No.
He's accused of money laundering under India's PMLA, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act.
Which is a pretty serious law.
Very serious, big penalties. But then there's also criminal conspiracy.
Suggesting planned involvement.
Exactly. And causing disappearance of evidence under the Indian Penal Code, sections 120B and 201.
So destroying evidence.
That's the allegation. It paints a picture of, deep, calculated, alleged involvement. Not just the fraud, but actively trying to cover it up.
Right. To really get why this arrest is so significant, we have to look at the PNB scam itself.
Yeah, the bigger context.
It blew up back in 2018, sent shockwaves everywhere in India.
One of the biggest banking frauds in the country's history, wasn't it?
Easily. We're talking Arias 13,000 crore.
Yeah.
It's a mind-boggling number.
Hard to even picture.
I used this analogy before. Imagine trying to fill a swimming pool with gold coins. Only to find someone's been siphoning it off with a giant straw for years.
Yeah.
That's kind of the scale we're dealing with.
It's a good analogy. So the core mechanism involved these letters of undertaking, or less.
Right. Explain those quickly.
Sure. So an LOU is basically a bank guarantee. Think of it like Bank A telling Bank B, usually overseas, look, if our customer takes a loan from you and defaults, we'll pay you back.
Okay, standard practice for trade finance.
Yeah, it helps companies get short-term credit from foreign banks for imports, exports. It's called buyer's credit. Totally legitimate, normally.
But not in this case.
Not here. The allegation is Nirav Modi and his uncle, Mehul Choksi, worked with corrupt officials inside PNB's Brady House branch in Mumbai.
Right, that specific branch.
And they allegedly issued fake LOUs, hundreds of them, without any proper sign-off, and crucially with no collateral backing them up.
No safety net if things went wrong.
None. And here's the really insidious part. These fake LOUs, they weren't recorded in PNB's main computer system, the core banking system.
So they were invisible, off the books.
Completely off the books, which meant regular audits, internal checks, they just wouldn't see them.
Wow. That allowed it to go on for years.
Exactly. Their companies got huge loans from overseas banks using these fake guarantees, supposedly for trade.
But then they defaulted.
Right. Leaving PNB holding the bag for this massive amount, which ultimately means the Indian taxpayer.
A catastrophic failure of internal controls.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just the money. It exposed this huge vulnerability, right? This reliance on maybe older manual processes for loos that bypass the main digital systems.
A gap they exploited.
Precisely. It forced regulators everywhere, not just in India, to really rethink how even seemingly small procedural gaps are monitored, led to much stricter rules afterwards.
Okay, so let's zero in on Nehal Modi's alleged role in all this. Where does he fit in?
Well, the main accusation is that he was deeply involved in laundering the money, the proceeds of the crime.
Which means cleaning the dirty money.
Essentially, yeah. Taking the illicit funds from the fraud and making them look legitimate, like they came from normal business. It's a complex process designed to hide the origins.
And the specific allegations against him are pretty striking, aren't they?
They really are. It sounds like he was allegedly very active, not just sitting back, helping Nirav hide the funds.
And destroying evidence. We mentioned that.
Right. And the scale is just vivid. He's accused of personally moving 50 kilograms of gold.
50 kilos.
And large amounts of cash, specifically from Dubai.
That's like carrying the entire treasure of Alibaba, but just one family doing it. It's staggering.
It suggests a pretty sophisticated operation logistically to move that kind of wealth undetected.
And the alleged evidence destruction? That seems particularly calculated.
Extremely. It wasn't just shredding a few papers. The claim is he orchestrated this whole thing where key employees from Nirav Modi's companies were moved.
From Dubai.
All the way to Cairo in Egypt.
Why Cairo?
Presumably to get them far away, make things harder to trace. And once they were there, allegedly, their phones, laptops, even computer servers were destroyed.
Wiping the digital trail.
A systematic effort to erase digital footprints, sever links back to the fraud. It's like trying to delete your browser history after searching how to delete browser history. You try, but...
It's never perfect.
Exactly. But they clearly made a concerted effort.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, how else was he allegedly involved?
So our research shows he's also tied heavily to these things called shell companies.
Ah, the classic tool.
Right. The ninjas of the business world, as you sometimes hear, entities that exist mainly on paper, maybe little real activity.
Perfect for hiding things.
Exactly. Masking ownership, masking money flow. Specific company names came up. Diamonds R Us, Solar Exports, Stellar Diamonds.
Okay.
They were allegedly set up to look like legitimate businesses trading with Nirav Modi's firms. But the accusation is they were used to wrongfully receive that buyer's credit.
Backed by the fake loose from PNB.
Precisely, from the Brady House branch. And Nehal is also accused of pressuring employees into signing false documents, making them claim they own these shell companies.
Creating layers of deception.
A really complex web, yeah, spanning different countries. It makes tracing the money incredibly difficult. It explains why he's specifically named as accused number 27 in the CBI charge sheet.
Number 27. That sounds quite high up the list.
It suggests a significant alleged role. It's like, financial wizardry gone bad.
Yeah.
The wizards turned out to be alleged con artists.
So what does this all mean now? He's been arrested. What's the next step?
The immediate next step is his extradition hearing. That's set for July 17th, 2025.
Okay, coming up soon.
Yeah. A U.S. judge will decide then whether to grant India's request and send him back to face trial.
A huge decision point.
Absolutely. It will really shape how this plays out.
And is he likely to get bail before then?
Well, the challenge there is significant. U.S. prosecutors have already said they'll strongly oppose bail. The seriousness of the charges, obviously, but also, crucially, they see him as a major flight risk.
Given the international nature of it all.
Exactly. His resources, his connections, and extradition itself, it's never simple, is it?
No, these things can drag on for years.
They really can. It's like a global chess game.
Yeah.
Involves international law, diplomacy between countries.
And the rights of the person accused.
Of course. So it's intricate, carefully calculated moves on all sides.
But for India, this arrest must feel like a big win.
Oh, definitely. It's being framed as a major diplomatic victory. Shows that international cooperation can work against these kinds of financial crimes.
And it's happening while they're still trying to get Nirav Modi from the UK.
Right. He's still in prison there fighting extradition.
And Mehul Chokshi from Antigua and Barbuda.
Exactly. So it looks like a much more coordinated international push now, trying to bring all the alleged key players to justice wherever they are.
Sends a message, doesn't it? That borders aren't necessarily safe havens anymore.
That's the hope, I think. The wider implication here is really about accountability. Can people who operate at this level exploiting global finance actually be caught?
It highlights the challenge of chasing white-collar crime across borders.
Immensely. They use legal complexities, different jurisdictions to their advantage. It really underscores how vital international cooperation is, things like mutual legal assistance treaties.
And the need for stronger global rules.
Absolutely. Stronger frameworks to tackle these kinds of sophisticated cross-border offenses. It's not just about one scam or one family. It's about protecting the integrity of the whole global financial system.
So we've really dug into quite a story today. This huge PNB fraud, Nehal Modi's alleged role coming out of the shadows.
And this ongoing international legal fight.
Yeah. It shows the challenges, but also maybe some successes in tackling global financial crime. Justice might be slow, but maybe it does cross borders eventually.
It does seem that way sometimes, and it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? What are the real costs beyond just the money when trust in our financial systems gets eroded like this?
That's a deep question.
And what does it actually take to rebuild that trust? Policy changes, better technology, more collaboration between countries.
And how do the systems keep adapting to catch people operating in the shadows? What role does that international teamwork play in the chase?
Good questions to ponder.
Definitely food for thought.
Ah.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
We hope to keep exploring these kinds of critical, fascinating topics with you.